Budgeting, it's the secret sauce to financial freedom. Picture this. You're in a game where every decision you make impacts your future. The name of the game? Life. And budgeting? Well, that's your game plan. It's like a roadmap, guiding you towards your financial goals. And trust me, without it, you're just shooting in the dark. Budgeting isn't about restricting your spending. It's about understanding where your money is going and making conscious decisions. It's about gaining control, not losing it. It's about making your money work for you, instead of you working for your money. It's like a fitness regime, but for your wallet. And just like how you'd need a plan to get physically fit, you need a budget to get financially fit. So if you're ready to flex those financial muscles and start winning at this game of life, you're in the right place. So, ready to unlock the magic of budgeting? Buckle up! First things first, know your income. That's right, folks, the journey to financial freedom begins with a clear understanding of how much money you're bringing in. It's like setting off on a road trip. You need to know how much gas you have in your tank. Now, what do we mean by income? Simply put, it's money that comes into your pocket. This could be from a variety of sources. Maybe you have a full-time job, part-time work, or you're a freelancer picking up gigs here and there. Perhaps you're a student with a scholarship or you're receiving an allowance. Every penny counts. Next, how do you calculate your total income? Well, you need to add up all those different income streams. If you have a regular salary, it's simple. Just take your monthly take-home pay. But if your income varies or comes from multiple sources, you might need to do a bit more math. Here's a tip. Try to be conservative. It's always better to underestimate your income than to overestimate it. If you end up with more money than you anticipated, that's a good problem to have. But if you overestimate and spend based on that, you might find yourself in a bit of a pickle. Understanding your income is crucial because it dictates how much you can spend and save. It's the foundation of your budget. Imagine trying to build a house without knowing how many bricks you have. It's the same with budgeting. You can't plan your expenses or your savings without knowing how much money you're working with. And remember, it's not about how much you earn, but about how well you manage what you have. Even the smallest income can lead to big savings if managed correctly. So don't get discouraged if your income isn't as high as you'd like it to be. Instead, focus on making the most of what you have. Remember, your income serves as the starting point for your budget. So get to know your income, embrace it, and let it guide you on your journey to financial freedom. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And knowing your income is the first big step on this exciting road trip to a better financial future. Now it's time to play detective with your expenses. Imagine you're Sherlock Holmes and every expenditure is a clue. The objective is to understand the mystery of where your hard-earned money disappears each month. And like any good detective, you need a reliable method to keep track of these clues. Why is tracking expenses so crucial, you ask? Well, it's simple. You can't control what you can't measure. By keeping an eye on your expenses, you get a clear picture of your spending habits. You'll spot patterns, identify leaks, and see opportunities for saving that you never knew existed. How do you track expenses? There's no one-size-fits-all approach, and you have to find what works best for you. Think about it like choosing a trusty sidekick. You want something that's reliable, easy to use, and always at your side when you need it. One method is going digital. There are countless apps available that can help you with this. Some apps can even link directly to your bank account, automatically categorizing and tracking your expenses. It's like having a personal finance assistant in your pocket. If you're more old school, you might prefer a good old-fashioned diary or ledger. Write down every expenditure, whether it's a big-ticket item or just a cup of coffee. It might seem tedious at first, but it's an excellent habit to develop. Some folks find a hybrid approach works best. They use an app for day-to-day expenses and a physical diary for bigger, less frequent expenditures. It's all about what makes you feel most comfortable and in control. Remember, it's not about tracking every single penny, but about understanding your spending patterns. Over time, you'll start to see trends and habits that can help you make informed decisions about your money. In the end, knowledge is power. And in this case, knowledge is also money saved. When you know where your money goes, you're already halfway to a healthier financial future. So grab your magnifying glass, put on your detective hat, and start tracking your expenses. Knowing where your money goes is half the battle won. Time to organize, because every dollar has a job. It's time to make your money work for you. And that begins with categorizing your spending. You see, when we throw all our expenses into one big pile, it's easy to lose track of where our money is going. But when we break down our spending into categories, we gain a clearer picture of our financial habits. Think about your expenses as if they were buckets. Picture 3 buckets in front of you. Label 1 necessities, another wants, and the third savings. Your necessities bucket is for your must-haves, the things you can't live without. This includes your rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, and healthcare. These are the non-negotiables, the bills you absolutely have to pay. Next, we have the wants bucket. This is where your discretionary spending goes, the things you enjoy but don't necessarily need. It's your coffees from the swanky cafe down the street, your weekend getaways, your streaming subscriptions. These are the expenses that can be trimmed down or eliminated if necessary. And finally, there's the savings bucket. This is where you put money aside for your future. It's your emergency fund, your retirement savings, your down payment for that dream house. It's essential to feed this bucket consistently, even if it's just a small amount at a time. By categorizing your expenses into these 3 buckets, you gain a better understanding of your spending habits. You can see where your money is going and, more importantly, where it's not going. Maybe you're spending too much on wants and not enough on savings. Or perhaps you're overspending on necessities and need to find ways to cut back. Remember, the aim isn't to restrict your spending but to control it. It's about making informed decisions about your money so you can live the life you want, both now and in the future. Categorizing your expenses gives you a clearer picture of your financial health. And with clarity comes the power to change, to improve, to reach your financial goals. It's time to give every dollar a job. It's time to take control. Goals are the why of your budget. That's right, folks. A budget without a goal is like a ship without a destination. It's just floating aimlessly in the sea of finances. So let's talk about setting those all-important financial goals. Now, goals can be short-term or long-term. Short-term goals are those you want to achieve within a year or two. Maybe you're saving up for a new phone, a vacation, or perhaps you're working towards paying off a small debt. These are your short-term goals. On the other hand, long-term goals are big-picture objectives that you want to accomplish in more than 2 years. This could mean saving for a down payment on a house, preparing for retirement, or even a college fund. These goals are more substantial and require consistent effort over time. Remember, your financial goals are personal. They should reflect what you want in life. So take some time to think about what you want to achieve financially. Once you have decided on your goals, write them down. Having them in black and white makes them more tangible and real, and therefore, more achievable. But setting goals is just the first step. You also need to assign a monetary value to each goal. How much will that new phone cost? How much do you need to save for that vacation or the down payment? Knowing these figures will help you understand how much you need to save. And here's a little tip. Break down your goals into monthly or weekly targets. This makes them more manageable and less overwhelming. Plus, it gives you a sense of achievement each time you hit a target. Now, why are goals so important? Well, they give a purpose to your budget. They motivate you to stick to it. Every time you're tempted to splurge on something you don't need, remember your goals. They'll help you stay on track. So, remember, your goals guide your budget, not the other way around. Set goals that are meaningful to you, assign a value to them, break them down into manageable targets, and let them guide your budgeting. In the world of budgeting, your goals are your compass. They'll lead you to financial success. Now let's construct your money blueprint, the budget. Creating a budget is like piecing together a puzzle. You've got your income, which is the border, your expenses, those are the middle pieces, and of course, your goals, which are the picture on the box. We're going to put these together to form a clear picture of where your money is going, so you can better control its flow. First things first, subtract your expenses from your income. This will give you a good idea of how much money you have left for your goals. If you're in the red, don't worry, there's always room for adjustment. If you're in the green, well done. But don't stop there. Next, let's talk about different budgeting methods. There's the envelope system where you allocate cash to different categories and only spend what's in the envelope. This is great for visual learners and those who prefer to use cash. Then there's the zero-based budgeting method. Every dollar has a job in this method. At the start of the month, you assign every dollar to a category, whether it's rent, groceries, or savings. This method is perfect for those who like to have complete control over their finances. Lastly, there's the 50-30-20 method. 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings. This is a simple method for those who prefer a more hands-off approach. Each method has its strengths and weaknesses, so it's crucial to choose one that suits your lifestyle. Are you a hands-on or hands-off kind of person? Do you prefer using cash or card? Your answers to these questions will help you choose the right method. Remember, a budget isn't set in stone. It's a living, breathing thing that changes as your life changes. So be flexible, adjust when necessary, and always keep your goals in sight. Your budget is your roadmap to financial success. Creating a budget is easy. Sticking to it, that's the real challenge. Now let's dive into the nitty-gritty of staying committed to our budget. It's like maintaining a healthy diet. You've got all your fruits and veggies lined up, but then there's that tempting slice of chocolate cake. Just like that cake, there are always going to be unexpected expenses that can throw your budget off course. So, how do you resist? First, keep your eyes on the prize. Remember those financial goals we talked about? They're your guiding light. Whether it's a vacation, a new car, or a cozy retirement nest, keeping those goals front and center will make it easier to say no to unnecessary spending. Next, let's talk about flexibility. Your budget isn't carved in stone, it's a living, breathing document that changes as your life does. Got a raise? Great. Adjust your savings. Had an emergency? That's okay. Tweak your spending categories. The key is to adapt without derailing your overall plan. Now, on to the common pitfalls. One big one is impulse buying. We've all been there, right? An online sale here, a cute pair of shoes there, and boom, your budget's blown. So how do you overcome this? Simple. Set a rule for yourself. If it's over a certain amount, sleep on it. You'll be amazed at how often you wake up realizing you didn't need that item after all. Another trap is the treat yourself mentality. Yes, you deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But treating yourself doesn't have to mean breaking your budget. Find small, inexpensive ways to reward yourself that won't leave your wallet crying. And finally, don't beat yourself up if you have a bad budgeting month. We all stumble. The important thing is to get back up, reassess, and keep moving forward. Remember, this isn't a race, it's a marathon. Sticking to your budget is sticking to your financial success. And with these tips, you're well on your way to crossing that finish line. So, we've covered a lot today. Let's quickly recap. We started by underscoring the absolute power of budgeting. It's not just about numbers or spreadsheets, it's the key to unlocking your financial freedom, giving you the reins to steer your money in the direction you want it to go. Next, we dove into the critical step of understanding your income. Whether it's from a part-time job, an allowance, or a side hustle, knowing what's coming in is the foundation of your budget. Remember, every dollar counts, and every dollar has a job to do. We then discussed the importance of tracking your expenses. From the morning latte to the monthly rent, keeping an eye on where your money is going is crucial. Be vigilant and keep a record. It's the only way to know where you might be overspending and where you can cut back. After that, we ventured into the realm of categorizing your spending. Needs, wants, savings. These are your budget's main characters. Balancing them is a delicate act, but mastering it is the game changer in your financial journey. Setting your goals was next on our agenda. Whether it's saving for a new phone, a trip, or a rainy day, having a target gives your budget a purpose. It's your financial compass, guiding you towards your dreams. Then we got down to the nitty-gritty of creating your budget. Allocating your income to different categories, prioritizing your needs, and giving every dollar a job. This is where the magic happens. This is where you start taking control. Finally, we emphasize the importance of sticking to your budget. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. Remember, the budget is your roadmap, and sticking to it is your journey to financial stability. Remember, budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. So, start your journey to financial freedom today.